I hate real estate. Wow. That's it. So we have different views on real estate. He loves it. He likes putting the puzzle together. Me, I think I'm just over it. So I prefer to just lend money through privatemoneyclub.com to people like him that actually like it. Because there are so many things I can't stand about it. Shall I show you? So I thought we'd just go throw for throw, blow by blow on real estate deals and why I literally hate real estate. So first, let's start with realtors.
Yeah.
You used to be a realtor. I love how realtors sabotage deals. They bring a buyer, they get into the deal, they give you the contract, and then all of a sudden when the home inspection gets done, they come back and they're like, now it's all out war.
Right.
You deal with that?
I deal with it a lot. So by me being a realtor, I know what's coming. And I also know that it's an inspector's job to find something, even if it's really nothing there, because they feel like if they don't find something, they're not doing their job. So by me knowing that, I know how to have rebuttals for that. Now, if it's something that's a real, material defect, of course. But a lot of stuff is just, I want to make it look like I'm doing my job. So I'm prepared for that. And if you haven't been a realtor, you should be prepared for that as well.
All right. How about home inspectors? So I'll go back 2014. Can't mention the address. Yeah, we hired a contractor who didn't pull permits, and we thought we were going to get away. We got a stop work order. Contractor went and got permits, but that building inspector, every time he came back, he would add things. And I remember it was all written on the wall. He'd write all the things he wanted. And every time he'd come back, he'd add something new. And I remember I got pissed off the one day because he wanted fire caulking around something. We had fire caulked this thing in the garage 4 times, literally drywall that thick, because he was just, every time he's like, no, we need more. And I got so mad at him, I screamed at him, and he said that was a mistake. So I call his boss, department, the building inspection, and I'm complaining and telling him everything he's doing. Later, I found out he was in his boss's office. They were literally laughing their asses off at me. He made my life a living hell on that property and every other property we did in his area.
That's crazy.
You got anything like that? Or?
Well, yeah. So I found out the hard way with an inspector and appraisers. It's a certain way you got to approach them because you can't win. So anytime I have a low appraisal come in or I have a bad inspection, I try to play nice because I know they got me, and I got to play nice. Even if I hate their guts, I can't let it out, So it's a way to approach it. A low appraisal come in. Instead of the first time I did it, I learned the hard way. What are you talking about? These comps are wrong. Here's the comps. Just woofing. And it had a negative effect. But when I come in and say, hey, I see what you did there, but have you looked at these comps? And it's just a different conversation. Sometimes I never even got a reply back when I went hard at them. So, I deal with that all the time,
Yeah, we fought appraisals many times, and I've only won on 2 of the fights. But it's because we had comps, and we actually had another appraisal the one time we won. We showed, I don't remember, I think somebody else had pulled the appraisal, we had gotten it, and then they came in way under, and then we ended up getting, the biggest crap, in my opinion, is when you go to a hard money lender and they have their appraisal come out, and it's always way under what your comps are.
Yeah. I had that happen as well, appraisers, man. And it's funny. I tried to call the appraiser board, but I found out real quick, nobody governs the appraisers. If your realtor do you dirty, you could go to the real estate commission. The inspectors, they got an inspector board, but nobody's governing the appraisers. So what I do now, with the 4 townhomes that we got getting ready to be completed, I got 3 different appraisals on that. First, it came in low at $220K. And I'm like, yo, there's nowhere in the market in Chattanooga where you can find a new construction, 3-bedroom, 3-bath for $220K. So why is mine appraising for that? We got a second appraisal. I did a rebuttal. He bumped it up $6,000 or something like that. And then we went with a whole different company. We went from $220 to the final appraisal of $308.
Wow.
So it's man, how can you be $100,000 off in this price point? I can see if we're in the $600, $700, $800 million price point to be $100,000 off, but how can you be $100,000 off in the starter price point? So, we deal with a lot of stuff like that.
So I'm not going to open the big can of worms, but let's just talk tenants.
Mm-hmm.
You had tenants before,
Oh,
right?
man, they just tore my house up. I'll never have another tenant ever. I got a house.
Do tell.
Yeah, I mean,
let's see if yours is better than mine.
Well, no, it's funny because this tenant actually asked me for a job.
That makes perfect sense, actually.
She asked me for a job, like, "Hey, I want to work with you," and I'm like, "Man, I didn't know her. My property manager, which is my uncle, he knew her, and we ended up letting her rent the house. And of course, I'm not going in there doing the inspection, so it's time to move out. It's like they literally let the dog just do his business all over the house. We're still trying to get the smell out. I had to renovate it again. Put about another $10,000 in it just to get it back up to standard. And we're still trying to get the smell out. So, I wouldn't do another tenant. I'm thinking about renting the rooms out to veterans, but those are still tenants, but it's just, I don't know. I wouldn't do a traditional tenant anymore.
This is one of those where I have to go in the memory and I have to pick carefully which one I want to talk about. So during COVID, I had this one guy. He was always kind of a jerk. He rented the upper of one of my duplexes, really, really nice place. And the mayor, and well, actually more the governor said, effectively because of COVID, tenants didn't have to pay rent. We couldn't evict them. The next month, guess what? He stopped paying rent. So I was super nice to him, but then I started getting aggressive. I had my attorney send him all the eviction paperwork. He's like, you can't evict me. And we knew that. We were just, trying to get him out. And I remember I exchanged some really choice words. The guy showed up at my office to fight me.
Really?
Showed up at my office to fight me. I think Shauna was there that day, but Dimitri, who's like this Russian guy, tough kid, was also there and heard us squabbling out there because I was getting loud. And he came up and it diffused the situation. But yeah, the dude was going to fight me because he wasn't paying rent and because he didn't have to pay rent.
That's crazy.
And then there's also the squatter story. I bought a house. Squatter moved in, drug dealer or druggie, not drug. She was a user. 1 year. This is during COVID too. 1 year she lived rent free, and the only way I got her out is one day the neighbor called me, said she was going on a drug run. I sent a crew over there to board all the doors and the windows up. The only one they didn't board up is the attic. The neighbor calls me, laughing his ass off, saying, "You are never going to believe this.
She's trying to get in the attic.
She is scaling the back of the house now." Luckily for me, she didn't make it, but nonetheless, that was eviction success there.
Luckily, I never had to deal with a squatter, but I can only imagine how I would deal with it.
A lot of things crossed my mind.
Yeah.
That's how we did it. We even
we'll get you out.
Yeah, we even removed the meter off the house.
Yeah.
And didn't change. Didn't care.
Yeah.
Didn't care.
Yeah, it's tough, man, and just dealing with people and the entitlement and. Man, it's crazy. Like I said, man, the last tenant, she literally was trying to come work for me, knowing that she was tearing my house up, and she wasn't. I won't say they weren't paying rent. They didn't pay the last month, so I just kept the deposit. But it was just too much. Like every month, we're running a business. I don't want to have to chase you down for that amount. So I probably won't do another tenant.
Let's see. Should we go down the road of contractors?
Oh yeah! Oh wow!
All right, let me start. I know we could go back and forth. Roofers. All right, so hired lots of roofers. One roofer came in, put a roof on the house. It was leaking the whole time. The whole attic molded because of the leaking. And I ended up going to him, just said, "Hey, listen, you just got to fix this." He wouldn't. I ended up suing him, winning nonetheless. Never collected a nickel from him. We have liens on all of his properties, but that's just getting warmed up. Yours?
Oh man. While you was telling me the contractor story, I was thinking about another tenant story. No, this will be quick. So on one of my projects where I'm doing the 16 townhomes, I inherited a tenant. So I bought a abandoned car wash that I tore down in a house with a tenant in it. And we're coming to do good business. So I said, "Hey, we're going to tear this house down, but we're realtors. We can help you find another place to go." She was like, "No, I got houses. I'll just go somewhere." And then I'm like, okay. So we're starting to get the entitlements in place. I get the surveyor going out there. I get a call from the surveyor that says, the lady ran me off the property. She said she owns the property. And I was like, huh? What you mean? So the tenant actually thinks she owns the property. And she ran the surveyor off. So I called the person who I bought it from. We actually went to a closing. So I know this is, she's lying, but I called the owner and I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" And she was like, well, long story short, we had to go to court for a year. I had to delay the project for a year. I already got my investors. So I'm having to go to eviction court. She has every loophole in the book. She got her a buy here, pay here lawyer. You know, they was doing tactics like not showing up to court. And I'm driving up from Atlanta to come to court. It was just a mess, man. It was like, man, this is crazy. But I have liens on, I won, and I have liens on her property. She did actually own some properties, but.
I got one more tenant. They didn't become my tenant, thank God, but I was buying a property. It was under contract. So I went over there. You know, the seller of the property told me to go over there and introduce myself to the tenants. So I went over there and, you know, I'm sitting there talking to her. I'm saying, hey, we're buying the property, blah, blah, blah. We're, you know, this is what rent's going to go to, just being super nice. And she's starting to scream at me. And I'm like, fine, I'll just evict your ass. Like, no big deal. Like, don't do me any favors. And then all of a sudden, right behind her husband, I hear a shotgun cock. Like, now I'm going to tell you, there is no more frightening sound than a shotgun.
Yeah.
I was with Joe, my my project manager, and he was strapped. But you know, I backed off. I left, canceled the deal, never bought that house. You keep your tenants. Yeah. So all right, let's go to contractors now.
Oh man, thieving contractors. The funny part, I always say this a lot. I never met a contractor who I trusted, besides the one that I have in house now. If they feel like they can get you, they'll get you. Like I was telling you previously, one guy tried to mark one line item up almost $85,000, and I got it done for $15,000. He sent me a bill for $100. Just always knowing your numbers and, you know, trust but verify. Yep. You know, that's what I live by. Trust but verify, because a lot of times you don't find out somebody's a scammer till it's too late. It's like, then he already got you. So. Yeah. Oh,
how about, you know, early in my career flipping, because I didn't know any better, you know, I found a contractor. I should have known by looking at him, but, you know, I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. And of course, he said he could do everything. I can do demo, I can do framing, I can do electrical, I can do plumbing, I can do the roof. And he could do them all. Nothing was ever done right.
Yeah.
He probably ended up costing us hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years in one lawsuit, which we ended up winning. But yeah.
Now, speaking of that, so I've had my trials and tribulations with contractors, but now when I'm talking to a contractor, I say, what's the one thing that you do? It's like it's not an open-ended question. It's just, you got to tell me one thing, because all contractors are going to say they can do all these things and sub them out and put a markup on them and try to play GC when they're not really GCs. So I say, hey, what's the one thing that you do? Like if you do roofing, you're not going to do the drywall too. You know, you got to keep your crews separated to keep everybody honest. So, you know, that's one of the things I learned throughout my journey. Like, you doing one thing. Now, the only time I will double up if somebody can do the cabinets and the granite, because those kind of go hand in hand, you know, but none of the big ticket items.
I hired a plumber one time, and it was because he was the lowest priced, and he did some work. He was down in the basement. I get a call from the contractors that were working after him. The basement had filled up with sewage. Something this plumber did, he screwed something up, and because of that, all the sewage backed up in the house. That was fun.
Oh, wow. I hired my first contractor off Craigslist. So that goes on my first deal. So that goes.
My first one was from Facebook. That one that I said does everything, he was from Facebook. So it was two peas in a pod there.
And it was demo. So I'm like, yo, I'm thinking, like, I'm just now getting into the investing side. I'm like, how hard can it be to knock out a wall? But it really
I showed you today.
Yeah, right.
Not very hard.
Yeah. So they knock out the wall, right? But every 8 feet, you need a beam. And the ceiling started sagging. So I had to bring in another contractor to put up a beam. We ended up making it look good, but I think, like I said, I got like 50% of my mistakes out on my first deal.
You were lucky. It took me a lot more than that. A lot
I was
more
like,
than that.
Not doing that. So one of the things I live by is not making the same mistake twice.
All right, buyers and buyers.
Buyers are liars.
There we go.
Until the wire hit, we just talking. You know, that's.
I love that.
I got some things I live by. Well, I want to say what I want to say on your show, but until the wire hit, we just talking. You know.
Wow. Even after the wire hits, it gets even more fun. I got a story. sold a house to a guy and it got it for a song. Like it was back when we really needed capital. So he stole this house. And I remember it was a really cold winter and he had done he did his home inspection, had a bunch of stuff he wanted. I griped through it all, but I did every bit of it. And then they closed. A year and a half later, he sues me, saying that I sold him a house. It was all faulty and we misrepresented it, blah, blah, blah. And I gave it to my attorney. My attorney's like, he did a PINA, right? And I'm like, yeah. And
what's a PINA?
A property inspection notice.
Okay.
So he had a home inspector go through and like did all that. But nonetheless, this guy, right up to right now, has sued me and lost, I didn't even know you could do this, but I think it's like 3 or 4 times and still suing me. And best part about it, that house, he demoed it to the ground and built a beautiful house. So it's not even the same house, but he's still trying to sue me for that house that he bought from us.
When he sue you, doesn't he have to sue you in different courts? Because once you lose in one court, you can't.
That's what he's doing. Yeah, he's getting different attorneys to take the case, feeding him a line of crap. Then my attorney's sending a whole, like he's got this, it's all templated now.
Yeah.
Sending this thing to the new attorney and the new attorney drops it. So then he searches for another one that'll take it.
That's crazy.
And then he used to like go all over like social media and badmouth me and everything. And I would just block. And now it's just funny.
Yeah. That's kind of what the tenant did. So I beat her in eviction court. I got a judgment, and then she sues me in chancery court and says, like, well, she sues me, but I don't have anything to do with it. She says that the owner that I bought it from promised her the house. I'm like, well, why are you suing me?
Like, you're suing the wrong person.
Yeah, it was crazy, but she won't be able to do anything with those properties until I'm paid. So,
all right, so folks, you just kind of had us go blow for blow. Throw for throw.
Gotta love real estate.
Yeah, so now you guys all pick. Which one you want to be? You want to be in real estate or you want to be the bank? I choose the bank because being the bank is the ultimate in real estate. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Rashad, if you needed money for a deal, what would be the best place you would go to try to find money?
I would go to PMC.
PrivateMoneyClub.com. If any of you are needing money for your deal, get on PrivateMoneyClub.com, post your deal. And if any of you want to be the bank like I'm talking about and lend, get on Private Money Club and get your information in there. If you all like this video, check this one out right here. Flip out.